Hello, everybody. It is Skip Clark, and here we are again, and she's already giggling, and I love this. The Inner Harbor cast, live from the Inner Harbor Media Studios, the beautiful Syracuse Inner Harbor. Like I always say, that's a whole lot of Inner Harbors. But welcome, everybody. Thanks for having us on. Thanks for viewing. Thank you for listening, because we have another great informative program for you this morning. As you know, my name is Skip Clark. I'm from 92.1 The Wolf, which is one of the 4 radio stations here at Inner Harbor Media. But I have a child with Down syndrome, a child with disabilities. Well, I don't know if I can call him a child anymore. He's 23, but I guess he'll always be my child.
I always say a child at heart.
Yes, exactly. I want y'all to say hi to my new friend, Kelly Davenport. Kelly is the founder of Bowling for Autism. But here we are recording this. It's April right now.
Yep.
It's April right now. And April is National Autism Month. Is that Autism Awareness Month? Is that correct? Kelly, tell us a little bit about autism and what it is.
All right, well, hi, everybody, and thank you, Skip, for having me. This is really cool. The Wolf is my favorite station,
Yay!
so I love connecting to all these guys. But yeah, Bowling for Autism is something I started as part of Autism Awareness Month as well. But Awareness Month is just to kind of introduce that these people are, even though they have disabilities, they are still people who want to be accepted and loved for who they are, and they should be included as such, and we should not make them as a separate entity of people.
Now, you have a personal connection, just like I do with my son when it comes to Down syndrome, but you have a personal connection with autism.
Yes. My younger brother, I should say my younger, taller brother.
Wait a minute, you're pretty tall.
Yeah, well, he passed me after, I was in high school, and he shot past my 5'10" self, and now he's 6'7". And I said, just remember, you're still my little brother.
Did you play basketball?
He should. He just stand there.
What about you?
Walk him out.
Because you're tall.
I did track and field, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, you got the long legs. You can run fast. I like it. Tell us about your brother a little bit.
So he and I are just short of 6 years apart, but we've always been very close growing up. I've seen him go through a lot of different changes, and it's really cool to see how he's developed through finding different activities and doctors that have helped my parents through the situation. I mean, he's really gone from, he would barely even want to touch you. You'd go to hug him. He'd kind of do this little shutter side thing, but now he's so social, and they call him the mayor of the town sometimes because he's just talking to everybody. And it's amazing to see how far he's come since he was a kid. And
only sibling?
No, I have another sibling.
Okay. So, but he's the only one he's autistic. Yes. And how do you remember when you say there's a 6-year difference, but when he was diagnosed as being autistic, or can you tell me, what do you know about when your parents found out, and how did all that go down? And how did they find out? What did they suspect? How did they say, you know what, we need to look at this a little bit and find out what's going on?
So my parents have told me that he was diagnosed when he was 18 months old.
Okay.
They started noticing that he wasn't developing with like certain speeches and mode functioning that you would notice with a typical or an atypical neural functioning child. And she's like, something's odd here. Like, we should talk to a doctor and see what it come about. And he always had this thing. I remember so vaguely when he was a kid that autism is all about routine. And for him, like, he would have these toy cars and trucks and everything, and he would line them up. And if something distracted him, he would mess the whole thing, and he would start from the beginning, just line them up. And it was just something he always did. And it's all about routine. And when his routine gets messed up, that's when he struggles to get around it. And something like COVID happened, and they couldn't do the activities they were used to. That I think he's still trying to recover from how that changed. And even though he's back to his routine now, I
was going to ask you about that, because here again, this is about you and autism and your brother, but having my son the way he is, that when COVID happened, we feel that he, after taking 3 steps forward, he ended up taking 4 steps back. And it just like you had to start over again. And we're still working on that to this very day, and you say that your brother would line up his trucks, his little toy cars, trucks. I know with my son, if I was to take one of those away, it'd be all out of sorts for him. And he'd no. I can't say he wouldn't get frustrated and,
Yeah.
kind of lose it for a second and then start over again. But my son Zach would definitely have a fit over that. So that's, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's almost like autism,
Yeah.
autistic,
There's a
being
lot of
autistic.
similar components.
Yeah, yeah. So, so what happens when a child gets diagnosed with the autism? They work with different people to try
Yeah.
to overcome those obstacles. Correct?
Yeah, there's occupational therapists, there's
Hmm.
speech therapists, like people that can try to work on what developmentally they're most struggling with. Like you have individuals who are nonverbal or limited
Hmm.
vocabulary,
Hmm.
so they work on different ways to help them talk. My brother is fortunate in the side of being higher functioning, but there's still a lot where he wouldn't be able to live on his own, he wouldn't be able to drive, but he can do a lot. He's always very helpful and stuff. But early intervention is key.
Is key. Yes.
And the earlier they can start getting services for these individuals, the better. But as long as they have a support system and find the right doctor who's going to work with them and try to
Hmm. Hmm.
understand,
Hmm.
it does still help them. But
Hmm.
the earlier, the better, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any numbers on autism? Do you know off the top? I know you
Um,
work, like
yeah,
you say, you work kind of with individuals with
yes.
disabilities and why have you. But I mean, it's a pretty, I shouldn't put it this way, but I'm going to, it's kind of like a pretty common thing. You
Mhm.
see a lot of autistic, uh, young adults, children. I see now that we have a son with Down syndrome. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many, and it's a good thing though because they can all interact, and you
Yeah.
say there's all different levels too.
It's a different social impact for sure. The latest prevalence I know about in autism is like 1 in 54,
Okay.
and males are 4 times more as likely.
Oh,
There's
wow.
not really a known correspondence behind that, but I know that it's 4 times more
Mhm, mhm.
likely.
Now that, like you say, there's all different degrees, all different levels
Yeah.
of autism. I know I'm big into sports, and every once in a while they have um, you know, a day for autism, and they turn the volume down on everything. And they, if you can't really clap, you just go through the motions
Yeah.
and all that. So that's a whole different level.
Yeah, that could be a sensory input.
Hmm.
Some of them are very sensitive to touch or
Hmm.
sound.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll probably see individuals going around with like bigger headphones or something that they need, and
Yep. Yeah.
they'll do like a kind of like this, like a flapping type
Hmm.
motion,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's just part of how they
Yeah. How
interact
they
and stuff. And
interact. Yeah.
but there's a saying that I've seen through autism community,
Tell me.
and I think it's very, very interesting and well to go by. It says, when you've met with one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Because even though there's a
Wow.
lot of similar capacities and
Hmm.
similar degrees, every single person is still very different in their own. They all learn differently, they all accept differently. So I think that's a really cool concept to understand that they're all people. They're all should be treated that way, but each person is completely individual from the next.
I think there's on another note, on another side, there's a lot of people that are totally ignorant to what's going on. You could be in a grocery store, and if your child
Mhm.
starts acting up, some people automatically, they react in a way that they like, oh my God, what's going on? You can't, don't treat them like, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people that have no idea, and it's so frustrating. I see it
Yeah.
on my side
Me
of
too.
things. So, and I'm sure you do,
Yeah.
but
I feel like, I mean, you might understand exactly what I'm talking about here, but someone who's in that position,
mhm,
meaning they're directly connected to someone who's on the spectrum or
mhm,
any
mhm,
kind of, whether it's cerebral palsy or Down syndrome or any of
mhm.
that stuff, when you're in it, you see it completely different. And
Yeah,
you
that's
start
true.
to gain like you said, in public, someone's having a situation or they're having a meltdown. My first thought is, I wonder if they're having trouble because they're spectrum, but it might not be the
No,
case. Like,
because you're in it and I'm in it
yeah.
in a sense, but a lot of people are not, and that's why a lot of
Mhm.
individuals need to be educated on,
Yeah.
especially in the way society is nowadays. People need to be educated on, autism,
Yeah.
or children or adults with disabilities, and know why they do certain things the way they do certain
Yeah.
things.
I remember going to school, being on the
Yeah,
bus together, and kids would be making fun of him. And I was constantly like fighting back to these kids, like, you're going to leave him alone because
right,
he's
right.
not,
Oh,
he's
I
just trying to be social. And when you're in it, it's a whole different ballgame. But that's part of why I started Bowling for Autism as well, is to bring
mhm,
more awareness and inclusion, and just they deserve a voice as well.
mhm.
So,
Been there.
yeah.
Been there, let me tell you. And I'm only one part of it, but if you were to get my wife involved, that's one thing you do not want to do. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we've got some really cool stuff going on.
Mhm.
You are the founder of Bowling for Autism.
Yes.
And first of all, thank you for doing that. That is so cool that you do that. How long have you been doing the Bowling for Autism?
Oh gosh, I started it. I lived in Pennsylvania, grew up there, moved to New York in 2016.
Mhm.
I've been doing Bowling for Autism since 2012. This is the 13th
No
year for the
way. That's
Pennsylvania
awesome.
branch.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you're doing it up here.
Yes.
All right.
I started last year in central New York when I
Okay.
felt I was pretty settled. I'm in
Hmm.
the Baldwinsville area now,
Okay.
and I felt, it's about time. I want to help more communities. So this year is actually our second event in central New York. So
Number
it's
two,
growing.
we're gonna make it even bigger than
So
the
we're number
first.
13 and
Yeah,
number 2.
I love it. I love what you're doing. Now, is there a lot of planning to doing something like this? There must
Yes.
be. I mean, there's, so many people that could get involved, and we hope they all listen to this and watch it and they get
Yeah.
involved. But tell us about it a little bit. Tell us about what is Bowling for Dollars. Yeah, I wish it was that way.
Well, it kind
Now
of
I'm
is in
showing
that
my.
sense.
I know it is, right. It
Yeah.
is, and now I'm thinking back of me growing up, and there used to be a program, Bowling for Dollars. But no, on a more serious note, and something we all need to pay attention to is Bowling for Autism. Tell us
Yeah.
what that is exactly.
So I kind of came up with the name because, again, my brother and I being so close, and one of his favorite activities is bowling. So that was
I love
easy.
it.
And who
Yeah,
doesn't love a good bowling game when you get a chance?
exactly.
So that was number one. And number two was, I wanted to get back to the community and find a way to just kind of spread awareness and, think, okay, how can I help groups develop and continue their work to do the same thing of helping those with special needs
Mhm,
and trying to make it aware in the community that they should be part of that as well.
mhm.
Equal, not less.
Exactly,
Or different, not
but the
less,
same.
but same concept. So
Yep.
I approached our local bowling alley at the time and I threw out the idea and she was right on board and we
Love it.
just went for it. And first year I didn't really know too many organizations, so I donated to Autism Speaks. But for the first time we raised over $1,000, which
Nice.
I was like, wow, and as
Mhm,
I've gone
mhm.
through the years, I've kind of tweaked and adjusted according to what we learn and how the developments go. But now I keep it completely local organizations and I rotate them through. So it's just every year is a new group that helps special needs. And every dollar I raise goes right back into the community.
You love it, and just keeps getting bigger and bigger
Yeah.
and better and better. And not that it was. I mean, you just keep growing. Let me put it that way,
Yeah.
which is cool. So all the money stays right here
Yeah, so for the Pennsylvania branch, it stays in those
in
groups in
PA.
central New York.
Okay.
Like last year, we did Families First.
Okay.
They're based out of a home in Syracuse, but they do
Hmm.
a lot of inclusion things of social interactions and social activities for individuals. I know one of the people who works with the group offers free dental cleanings to those on the
Oh, nice.
spectrum.
Okay.
And then this year we're doing the Baldwinsville Nursery School. They're in the First United Methodist Church in Baldwinsville. We are supporting their scholarship program that helps fund the tuition for special needs students,
Hmm.
as well as the average person might not know what a cool down room is, but you might, having been in that
A little
community.
bit. Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah.
the sensory thing where they
Yes.
can go if they're
Yes.
having a hard time or
Yes.
like a meltdown, they can go and kind of relax and bring themselves back to their individual. So they're working on coordinating more of those. So that's this year's recipient with New York, trying to help them with their scholarship and cool down rooms.
That's cool. Now, how does one get involved? Do they actually have to go out and bowl, or do they sponsor somebody that's bowling, or how is
Um,
all that coming together? How
There's
does it work?
so many different ways. We do sponsorships,
Okay.
and that can be businesses, organizations, individuals, whatever they prefer. We do a raffle that day. So raffle donations are definitely welcome and very well needed right now.
Yes, please help.
Yes.
And if
um,
somebody wants to help, let's say somebody just heard us say that and they want
mhm.
you said, you know what, I'm going to make a donation. Who do they get a hold of, and how do they get a hold of?
They can go hold of me.
And how do we do that?
We're on Facebook at Bowling for Autism. I don't know if we need to share a photo of that at all, but I can
I
tag
can
in
put the
links.
link at the bottom here
Okay.
underneath. So
All right. So we have a Facebook page and they can also reach me at bowlingforautism.org@gmail.com. All
okay.
lowercase, just spelled out exactly like that.
Now you have a website.
Not at the moment.
No,
We
okay.
did, but I had an
So
issue with the
it's
the
better if you go
name.
to the socials.
Yeah.
So you go to the Facebook. I mean, almost everybody it's got something going on Facebook.
Yeah, and they can
Uh,
also add us as a friend on Facebook. I kind of make it a little interactive. I'll post
I
different
love it.
photos, but it's all related to the cause. Just another
Mhm.
way to hopefully hop in their feeds with the way Facebook and its news feed runs.
Right. One thing we haven't touched on, where is it?
It's at the Beeville Sports Bowl. It's
Okay.
45 East Genesee Street in Baldwinsville.
And when?
April 20th from 1 to 5.
Wow, really quick. It's
Yeah.
coming up pretty soon. Pretty
Yep.
soon. And if you're watching this after the fact, hopefully it's informative to you as well about individuals with autism. Do you know of any other events that go on throughout the year when it comes to autism that we could talk about as well? There's a walk, correct?
Yeah, there's usually a lot of groups will
Yeah.
do autism
Okay.
walks in
Okay.
April. I don't know of any like off the top
Yeah.
of my head with dates at the
I'm
moment,
sure. No, I
but
wouldn't expect you to, but I
yeah,
know there's more than just bowling for
yeah,
autism. So, if you want to help out, or maybe you know somebody that's autistic and you want to give back a little bit, by all means, just
yeah,
do what you can to participate in some of these events. And the bowling for autism that's coming up on the 20th. I mean,
yeah.
what a great opportunity.
We're gonna have bowling. We're gonna have live music
I
from the
was going to
Guidon
ask.
Band
Yeah. Oh,
for the
nice.
raffles. We're working on. Unfortunately, Scooch can't make it from the Mets,
Hmm.
but we were working on getting the Crunchman and the Beeville Bee. For anyone
Nice.
who doesn't know, that's the mascot of the Baldwinsville School District,
Hmm.
and everything is the bee connection because
I
we're
love
the
it.
Beeville Bees.
You are now. Do you work with the school at all with what you do, or no?
I've actually been working on trying to get the school involved, have their
Nice.
students and everything
Yeah,
come
yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah. Yep, yep.
We got the Durgee PTSA as one of the sponsors this year,
Mhm, mhm.
so we're slowly starting to get
Slow.
them as part of it.
This is just a big undertaking that you've taken upon to get it done,
Yeah.
and for rightfully. Can I ask how old is your brother?
He just turned 30 in February.
What? See, yeah. Now,
Yeah,
does
so
he
it's
being autistic, and you said he's pretty much on the high functioning
mhm.
end of it? Can I know he can't go out on his own, but can he still like make a sandwich for himself when it comes to lunchtime? Because my son, sometimes my son gets lazy and says, "Dad, I want a sandwich." No, Zach, you know where the bread is,
Mhm.
you know where the jelly is, you know where the peanut butter is, and I help him, but I make him do most of the work.
Right.
So
Yeah. He
yeah.
definitely is able to do stuff like that. He helps my dad with yard work
Oh,
and things.
nice.
And
Okay.
he's very, capable. He always likes to keep busy too. So he,
Yes, I've noticed that with a lot of autistic individuals that there's something about keeping busy. Maybe it keeps them like motivated and
yeah.
and that whole routine.
Like he can be out all day doing
Yeah.
whether it's a fun activity or out with his comhab, or I mean, he works other job as well, but he'll come home after 8 hours and still want to go somewhere.
Mhm.
And you're
So
like, oh my gosh.
you and your brother are very close, and I
Mhm.
totally get it. Absolutely, man. Just it's a
Yeah.
love that's like no other, I'm sure. Um, but what would you like to say to somebody that you know isn't aware of somebody with autism, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what would you say as somebody that you're on this side, but people that don't know?
I think that everyone should approach the individuals not even thinking that they have a disability, just approach them, say hi, or, be patient with them, trying to understand that this might be someone that is very shy or might not know how to talk back. So even if they don't respond to you, they're not necessarily being rude. They're just coping in their own way, or they're not
Hmm.
used to
Hmm.
folks. But just, patience and understanding go a long way, and accepting that,
Hmm.
they're different
Hmm.
too. But hey, any of us who are considered neurotypical, we're all different too. And I think we all have our
100%.
own things for sure. And
Absolutely.
I think that there's a lot of components of ourselves that we can connect
Mhm.
to with them.
Mhm.
And going through my brother's groups with like Special Olympics and the team with the YMCA he goes
Yep.
to, and just everything he's involved with, they all have the best time, and they just accept each other, and we should be doing the same for them.
I'm wondering if my son Zach knows your brother, because he
Maybe.
goes to the Y, does the Special
Okay.
Olympics. He's actively involved in all that stuff. Challenger baseball,
Mhm.
big time. Just they
Yeah.
all kind of intermingle, and they're all individuals with disabilities at different levels.
And we can learn so much from them.
Oh my
That's
gosh, so much,
such a great thing.
so
And
much. Yeah.
I will always, if someone wants to put down my brother, like I will always defend that. And I don't care who
Mhm.
you are. If you want to be, I would say like family and close friends, if they want to be in my life, they're going to accept him full on. And
100%.
yeah, exactly.
You go. Give me a high five for
Right.
that, because you know what? We're both in it. But we've been talking to Kelly Davenport, who is the founder of Bowling for Autism. but it's more than just being the founder. She's a sister to somebody that is autistic, somebody in the family, and she also works with individuals with disabilities. And now she's working with hopefully the school district is watching this. April 20th, Bowling for Autism in Baldwinsville. The lanes, what again? What were the name?
Beeville Sports Bowl.
Beeville Sports Bowl. I actually know it very well.
And it's it's very good.
Brain thing.
They don't even have to bowl to participate. They can come, and I've had people come just to do the raffles and watch other people bowl and just have a
So
good
do you have
time.
like a silent auction, or do you have like baskets set up and you can bid on them, or do you buy tickets and the tickets go into a bag, or either? They buy tickets. Either way, it's just it's a way to fundraise, and rightfully so. What
and the guy
do you?
in band play some classic rock?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. It's right up my alley. I love it. And a little bit of country. So they give, it's all tax deductible too. If somebody wants to, it's a 501c3, I'm sure. Very cool. Kelly, you're awesome, man. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. From somebody that knows what it involves to a certain extent. It just, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of frustration. And there's a lot of good that comes out of it, and you're blessed.
Is it okay if I throw out a couple shout outs?
Please do. Let's do it right now.
Well, number one, I could not do any of this volunteering without my family and my husband and everybody else who volunteers to help it, because even though I'm the founder and I'm like the person that does it, if they weren't helping me on the day of and helping me get flyers out, like especially now that I'm up in New York and I'm trying to get Pennsylvania, my mom and brother are the front runners right down there getting the flyers out, getting those donations. So I definitely could not run this without any of my family members. My husband and the kids, they all come out and support it. Again, we have our sponsors, and raffle donations are a big key right now. But I would like to give a personal shout out to all of the businesses and organizations that are currently on board right now sponsoring us this year. We have the Jerome Fire Department, the Beeville Diner, Timeless Tattoo, San Miguel, Sweet Dream Candy Shop, the Baldwinsville Volunteer Fire Department, the Oneida Indian Nation Foundation, Lou's Car Care, Barnes Memorials, the Baldwinsville Kiwanis Club, The Most, Butterfly Liquors. Oh shoot, sorry.
No, it's all good, man. You got quite the
Wegmans,
list.
the Dirty PTSA, the Northwest Family YMCA. Oh, the Powerhouse Gym. Sorry, I misread that. The CNY Family Sports Center, the Female Charitable Society, the Syracuse Mets, Angry Garlic, Patty's Crafts, and Shop with the Lad. But we are still accepting donations. We are accepting monetary sponsorship, anything of any kind. You can support both if you want, but coming out that day and helping us is a good thing as well.
Wow, it's so awesome. And thank you to all the sponsors that are on board, because they know what it takes, and they're giving back, and they get it. They understand. And if you watch this, please, if you go into any of those businesses, just say thank you for being a part of the Bowling for Autism.
And it's cool because as we're growing in New York, some of them this year are brand new from last year. Some of them are repeats. So it's nice to see that mixture. It was a little different up here because it's a bigger area than where I'm from. So I don't really have that connection like I do back home. So it's been extra work to
where are you from?
It's a town called Waymart, Pennsylvania.
Never heard of it.
It's east of Scranton.
Okay.
Like 30 minutes
Been to
east.
Scranton.
Wayne County, topmost right.
Yeah, I used to drive to Scranton almost every weekend many years ago. So,
but it's pretty much a straight shot, 81, 690 up here, only about 2 hours. So
yeah, it is. I did it in an hour and don't tell anybody. Did it in 1 hour and 50 minutes. So that was pretty quick.
Before too, I'll be honest.
And I paid for it for a few times as well. But anyways, Kelly Davenport's been with us today on the Inner Harbor Cast, and you're blessed. You're very special, and for doing what you're doing, and the love for your brother, of course. I mean, why not? Yeah, that's absolute. Just the same way with my son. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 stepchildren.
Oh, 2 stepchildren. I got it. Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So you pull a chair up to the table.
Yeah.
So to speak.
And
they did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Kelly Davenport, we thank you for coming by.
Well,
and
thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Inner Harbor Studios, the legendary. I mean, you know, there's a lot of history here. So
Yeah, make sure you tune into these stations because they are all excellent people. And
yeah,
I
well,
love
we
listening all
support
the
you.
time.
Thank you
Well, I
so much for doing
appreciate
that.
it.
It's Kelly Davenport talking about bowling for autism right here on the Inner Harbor Cast. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.